You said to yourself, "This is going to be my year. This year I will seriously change." We've all made such resolutions, those bright sparks of determination. But as the months roll by, those promises often fade into the background. Why does this happen? Are you wondering, how much longer do I have to wait to become the best version of myself? Here's the truth. Inside each of us lies untapped power, land with limitless potential. The key to unlocking it? It's not about grand resolutions or distant goals. It's about the small, intentional habits we build every day. Some habits hold us back, anchoring us to the same patterns of frustration and stagnation. But others, they propel us forward, helping us to thrive and live a life of meaning and clarity. So, how do we know which habits to cultivate? And more importantly, how can we make these habits part of our daily lives? In this video, we'll uncover 10 Stoic habits for 2025 that have the power to transform your life. These habits are practical, timeless, and designed to help you achieve resilience, mental clarity, and balance in today's fast-paced world. If you're ready to take control of your destiny, start right now. Like this video, subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official, and let's begin this journey of growth and purpose together. Your better self is waiting. 1. Reaffirm your core principles. Who are you? In a world full of noise and distractions, it's easy to lose sight of who we truly are. The Stoics believe that clarity and strength come from understanding and living by our core principles. Without this foundation, life feels directionless, like a ship without an anchor. The question is, what values define you? A soldier returns home after years of war. He steps off the plane, not into cheers and celebration, but into silence. The bustling world he once knew now feels unfamiliar and disconnected. The man who left as a protector of ideals now finds himself a stranger in his own life. This man, my father, spent his days searching for meaning. He was once guided by a code, a set of principles forged in the fires of duty and discipline. But in the absence of that mission, the clarity he once held crumbled. He grew restless, disoriented, asking questions we all face. Who am I now? What is my purpose? He confided in me that his breakthrough came one evening in solitude. Reflecting on his core values, courage, service, and loyalty, he realized these were not bound by his uniform. They were part of his identity. By journaling and reconnecting with those ideals, he started to rebuild his life. He sought new ways to live by those principles, this time as a father, mentor, and community leader. The lesson here is profound. Life can pull us in 100 directions, and without a clear sense of self, it's easy to feel lost. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius taught us to turn inward, to examine our core beliefs and align our actions with them. In Meditations, Marcus wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." To begin, take a step back. Reflect on the values that define you. Ask yourself, what do I stand for? What principles would I defend no matter the cost? Write them down. Make them your compass. When you're overwhelmed by external pressures, this compass becomes your anchor. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere. Work demands, societal expectations, and fleeting trends all compete for our attention. But as the Stoics remind us, peace and clarity come not from chasing what's external, but from grounding ourselves in what's eternal. If you too feel disoriented, start small. Keep a journal. Reflect on the moments that shaped you, your greatest joys and toughest trials. What values carried you through? Have a conversation with someone you trust, someone who knows you well. Their perspective can reveal parts of yourself you may overlook. And remember, this process takes time. My father didn't rebuild his life overnight. It was a slow, deliberate journey. So, be patient with yourself. Understanding who you are is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong evolution. By reaffirming your core principles, you'll find the strength not just to weather life's storms, but to navigate them with confidence and purpose. As my father showed me, when you know who you are, the world may change around you, but you'll remain steadfast, rooted in your values, and unshaken. 2. Set goals that align with your values. In life, setting goals can feel like chasing shadows. We often aim for things that seem important, success, recognition, financial stability, but as we achieve them, we wonder why they don't bring the fulfillment we expected. The problem isn't the effort, it's the disconnect. When goals aren't tied to our core values, they lose their meaning. The Stoics believed that only goals rooted in what we truly value can lead to a life of purpose and satisfaction. This realization became clear to my father after rediscovering his core principles. Knowing who he was gave him clarity, but clarity without direction can feel empty. So he asked himself, what now? Knowing who he was gave him clarity, but without direction, that clarity would fade. He realized he needed something to strive for, something meaningful. But he also knew the goals had to align with the values he'd reaffirmed: courage, service, and loyalty. Otherwise, they'd be just empty pursuits. He began with reflection. Sitting in his quiet study, he thought deeply about what mattered most. He wanted to rebuild his connection with his family, contribute to his community, and find fulfillment in his work. Each of these reflected his core principles. So he set goals: spend more time with his children, volunteer at a local veterans organization, and use his leadership skills to guide younger employees at his job. But these weren't vague resolutions. He broke them into small, actionable steps. For his family, he committed to Sunday dinners, uninterrupted by work. For his community, he started volunteering one weekend a month. And for his career, he scheduled weekly one-on-one mentoring sessions. These steps gave him purpose, without feeling overwhelming. The lesson here is timeless. The Stoics believed that a life aligned with values is a life worth living. Seneca wrote, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." Goals without a foundation in your values lead only to frustration and burnout. If you feel like you're spinning your wheels in life, start by connecting your goals to what truly matters to you. Reflect on your values. What brings you joy? What challenges make you grow? Once you know, create goals that are specific and actionable. Don't aim to spend more time with family. Instead, schedule family dinners or a weekly outing. Replace vague ambitions like do better at work with clear steps like mastering a skill or leading a project. Most importantly, review your goals regularly. Life changes, and so do priorities. What mattered last year may not hold the same weight now. Adjust your direction as needed, ensuring your goals always reflect your evolving values. For my father, these small steps created a ripple effect. As he spent more time with family, their bond grew stronger. His volunteer work brought him new friendships and a renewed sense of purpose. At work, his mentoring not only benefited others but also reignited his passion for leadership. The Stoics teach us that living with intention is the key to fulfillment. When your goals align with your values, every step forward feels meaningful. And with each achievement, no matter how small, you reinforce the life you truly want to live. Ask yourself today, are my goals connected to what I value most? If not, now is the time to start making that connection. 3. Create a mindful routine. Clarity and well-defined goals are only the beginning. Without action, even the most meaningful aspirations remain dreams. The Stoics knew this well. They emphasized the importance of structure and consistency in daily life. A well-crafted routine is not about rigidity. It's about creating a foundation that supports your growth and keeps you aligned with your values and goals. Building a mindful routine starts with intention. Every day is an opportunity, but without a plan, it's easy to drift. Ask yourself, what does my ideal day look like? For my father, rebuilding his life after rediscovering his principles and setting meaningful goals meant rethinking how he spent his time. He realized that his days lacked structure. He was reacting to events rather than shaping them. So, he began small. Each morning, he started with a moment of reflection, writing down 3 things he wanted to achieve that day. He carved out time for his priorities, spending an hour mentoring at work, a walk with the family after dinner, and quiet reading before bed. These activities were simple but deliberate. They aligned with his goals and gave his day a sense of purpose and balance. The Stoics, like Seneca, taught that life without a design is erratic. When you create a routine, you gain control. Instead of being pulled in different directions, you focus your energy on what matters most. A routine isn't about doing more, it's about doing what's meaningful. If you find yourself overwhelmed or feeling like your days slip by without progress, consider this. Start small. Identify one habit that aligns with your goals. Whether it's a 15-minute morning reflection, a dedicated work block, or even a short walk to clear your mind. Build on that habit gradually. A mindful routine doesn't require perfection, it requires consistency. Remember, flexibility is key. Life is unpredictable, but a strong routine can adapt without breaking. My father often told me, it's not about sticking to the plan perfectly, it's about returning to it when life pulls you away. A well-designed routine doesn't just make you productive, it brings peace of mind. By structuring your day around what truly matters, you create space for both growth and inner calm. The lesson is clear. Routines are not just about efficiency, they're about living intentionally. 4. Do something difficult. Growth does not happen in comfort. The Stoics believe that true transformation requires deliberately seeking challenges that test your limits. It's not about recklessness, but about stepping beyond what feels safe to explore your full potential. Doing something difficult isn't just a task, it's a mindset that teaches you resilience, patience, and inner strength. When we avoid challenges, we stagnate. Comfort zones, while soothing, can act as invisible walls that confine our growth. Consider this. You set a goal to advance in your career, yet you shy away from leadership opportunities because they feel overwhelming. Or perhaps, you wish to strengthen relationships but avoid difficult conversations. In each case, it is the avoidance of difficulty that holds you back, not the challenges themselves. To achieve your goals, start incorporating tasks that push your boundaries but remain within your control. If your aim is professional growth, volunteer for a challenging project or learn a complex skill. These experiences, though uncomfortable, are where progress happens. For personal growth, take on emotional challenges, engage in honest conversations with loved ones, or face long-standing fears, like confronting past mistakes. The Stoics emphasize the idea of premeditation malorum, preparing for hardship by imagining the difficulties you might face. This practice doesn't make challenges easier, but equips you with the mental clarity to handle them wisely. For example, if you're nervous about taking on a new responsibility, visualize the obstacles you might encounter. How will you react? What tools or strategies can you employ to overcome them? This preparation reduces anxiety and builds confidence. Another angle to consider is the long-term benefits of tackling challenges. Every difficult task you complete adds to your resilience and capacity to face future trials. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. By confronting difficulty, you transform obstacles into stepping stones for success. Moreover, challenges often reveal strengths you didn't know you had. Taking on something outside your comfort zone teaches you not only about the task, but also about yourself. It fosters creativity, problem-solving, and adaptability, skills that are vital in both personal and professional life. Finally, remember that difficulty is subjective. What feels challenging to one person may be routine for another. Focus on your journey and avoid comparing your progress to others. Growth is personal, and it's the act of stretching your boundaries that matters most. By deliberately choosing to do something difficult, you take control of your growth. You step closer to your goals, develop unshakable inner strength, and ultimately embody the Stoic principle of thriving through adversity. The question to ask yourself isn't, will this be hard, but rather, what will I gain by doing this? 5. Stop fearing change and embrace it. Change is the constant shadow of growth. After creating a routine and pushing yourself with difficult tasks, you'll inevitably encounter situations that demand adaptation. These moments, where the old ways no longer work, are where real transformation begins. The Stoics taught us to view change not as a disruption, but as a natural part of life, a catalyst for growth. Think back to the story of my dad. If, on that day, he had clung to fear and resisted the change of sharing his story, he would have stayed stuck in his comfort zone, living with unspoken fears and untapped potential. Instead, he chose to step forward, embracing the uncertainty of a new path. That willingness to adapt and evolve changed his life and inspired others. Change often feels threatening because it disrupts the familiar. Yet, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, loss is nothing but change, and change is nature's delight. Resisting change keeps us confined to old patterns, while embracing it opens doors to new possibilities. The key is not to fight change, but to prepare for it and navigate it wisely. To do this, start by breaking change into manageable parts. If you're transitioning to a new role at work, focus on mastering one skill or building one relationship at a time. If personal changes feel overwhelming, begin with small steps like adjusting your daily habits or exploring new ways to communicate. This method prevents the fear of the unknown from becoming paralyzing. Another Stoic principle that helps is the concept of focusing on what you can control. When change comes, identify the aspects within your influence and take deliberate actions there. For example, if a workplace reorganization alters your role, concentrate on improving your skills and adaptability, rather than worrying about outcomes you can't control. Additionally, reflect on past experiences. Remember times when change led to growth or opportunities you didn't expect. Let those memories remind you that adapting to new circumstances often results in outcomes far better than staying the same. Finally, view change as a teacher. Every moment of adaptation teaches resilience, creativity, and problem-solving. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your response to change defines whether it becomes a barrier or a bridge to your goals. The truth is that resisting change is futile because life itself is ever-changing. By embracing it, you align yourself with the flow of nature, unlocking new levels of strength and clarity. So ask yourself, what's one change I've been resisting? How can I face it with courage and wisdom today? 6. Control anxiety by focusing on what you can influence. Anxiety has a way of creeping into our lives, whispering fears about things we can't control. It clouds our judgment and leaves us stuck, unable to move forward. But the Stoics taught us a profound truth. Anxiety isn't caused by external events, it's caused by our thoughts about them. In today's fast-paced world, we face countless triggers for anxiety. From work deadlines to financial pressures or even the uncertainty of relationships, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. You might find yourself asking, what if this doesn't work out? Or what if I fail? These thoughts loop endlessly, robbing you of peace. Here's the key. Instead of letting anxiety control you, shift your focus to what's within your power. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When you redirect your energy toward actions you can influence, anxiety begins to lose its grip. For example, imagine you're worried about an important presentation at work. Instead of obsessing over how others might react, focus on preparing your content and practicing your delivery. These are actions within your control. Similarly, if you're anxious about finances, concentrate on creating a budget or finding small ways to save. Another practical tool is mindfulness. When anxious thoughts arise, pause and ask yourself, is this fear based on reality, or is it just my mind playing tricks on me? Most of the time, anxiety stems from imagined scenarios, not actual problems. Breathing exercises or journaling can help ground you, bringing clarity to what's real and actionable. It's also important to accept that some things will always remain outside your control. The Stoics didn't advocate for passivity. They taught us to focus our efforts where they matter most. By letting go of the uncontrollable, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Reflect on this. How much of your energy is spent worrying about things you can't change? What could you achieve if that energy were directed toward things within your influence? The lesson here is simple but transformative. Anxiety feeds on uncertainty, but certainty lies in your actions. The next time you feel overwhelmed, remember to center yourself on what you can do, not what you can't. That shift in focus doesn't just reduce stress, it empowers you to take control of your life with clarity and confidence. 7. Master the art of saying no. In a world overflowing with demands, opportunities, and distractions, the ability to say no has become a rare skill. Yet, it's one of the most powerful tools for protecting your time, energy, and focus. By setting boundaries and declining commitments that don't align with your values, you free yourself to prioritize what truly matters: your relationships, growth, and well-being. Saying no often feels uncomfortable. We worry about disappointing others or missing out. But the reality is that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something essential. Imagine your life as a garden. If you spend all your time watering weeds, there's no space for the flowers to grow. The Stoics recognized this challenge and taught the importance of discernment. Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This principle reminds us that not all commitments are worth our time, And saying no is not a rejection of others, it's a commitment to ourselves. Begin by evaluating your current obligations. Are they aligned with your goals and values? If not, it may be time to set boundaries. For example, if your evenings are consumed by unnecessary meetings or social obligations, consider politely declining future invitations. Instead, use that time to connect with loved ones, pursue personal growth, or simply rest. When saying no, honesty and clarity are key. You don't need elaborate excuses, just a simple, respectful explanation. For instance, if someone asks you to take on a task that conflicts with your priorities, you could say, "I appreciate the opportunity, but I need to focus on other commitments right now." Another Stoic lesson to remember is that we cannot please everyone. Epictetus taught that our energy is finite, and it's better spent on what brings meaning and fulfillment. Trying to meet every expectation only leads to exhaustion and resentment. By saying no to distractions, you create space for intentionality and balance. Reflect on this. How many times have you agreed to something out of obligation, only to regret it later? What if you redirected that energy towards something that truly mattered to you? Saying no isn't about shutting people out. It's about opening up space for the right people, activities, and goals. It's an act of self-respect and a step toward living with purpose. Start small today. Choose one thing to decline and see how it lightens your load. By mastering this art, you'll find more time, energy, and clarity for what truly makes your life meaningful. 8. Surround yourself with positive influences. The people we spend time with shape who we are. A positive environment fosters motivation, inspiration, and accountability, while negative relationships can drain your energy and keep you stuck. The Stoics understood this deeply, often emphasizing the importance of surrounding oneself with those who elevate your thinking and character. Think back to my father's story. His transformation wasn't a solitary journey. He found strength because he was surrounded by a supportive family, loyal friends, and a community of veterans who understood his struggles. Their encouragement and guidance reminded him of his values and gave him the courage to rebuild his life. Without these connections, his path might have been far lonelier and harder. Seneca wisely advised, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." The Stoics knew that just as a rotten apple can spoil the bunch, negative influences can subtly erode your confidence and resolve. On the other hand, being around people who share your values and inspire growth can make all the difference. Ask yourself, who are the people closest to you? Do they motivate you to pursue your goals, challenge you to grow, and celebrate your progress? Or do they drain your energy, fill your mind with doubt, or pull you away from what matters most? Identifying these dynamics is the first step to curating a positive environment. If you find that your current circle doesn't align with your values, take proactive steps to expand your network. Seek out communities or groups that share your passions. Whether it's a professional association, a hobby group, or even an online forum, connecting with like-minded people can provide encouragement and accountability. For example, if you're aiming to improve your fitness, joining a running club or a gym class can surround you with others who share the same drive. Another Stoic principle to consider is the idea of learning as you teach. By engaging with positive influences, you not only absorb their wisdom, but also contribute to their growth. This creates a cycle of mutual improvement that strengthens everyone involved. Remember, surrounding yourself with the right people doesn't mean cutting ties completely with those who aren't perfect. It's about setting boundaries and choosing how you spend your energy. Focus on relationships that nurture your mind and soul, and limit time spent with those who detract from your growth. The lesson is clear. You can't always control what life throws at you, but you can control who you choose to walk through it with. By cultivating a positive environment, you create the foundation for resilience, motivation, and enduring success. 9. Practice resilience by bouncing back quickly. Failure is often seen as the end of the road, a sign that we're not good enough or capable enough. But the Stoics teach us to see it differently. Resilience isn't about avoiding failure, it's about how quickly and wisely you respond when it happens. By reframing failures as opportunities to learn, you shift from a mindset of defeat to one of growth. In life, setbacks are inevitable. Perhaps you didn't get the promotion you were aiming for, or a personal relationship took an unexpected turn. These moments hurt, and it's easy to spiral into self-doubt. But instead of viewing these events as permanent roadblocks, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I adapt and improve? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus emphasized, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Every failure carries a lesson. Maybe it's a reminder to prepare better next time, or a signal to change your approach. The key is to practice self-compassion, acknowledge the mistake, but don't let it define you. Take a moment to reflect on past failures in your life. How did you handle them? Did they push you to grow, or did they hold you back? My father, in his journey to rebuild his life, faced many moments where plans didn't unfold as expected. Yet, instead of giving up, he saw these as chances to refine his strategy. His resilience wasn't just about persistence. It was about learning, adapting, and trying again. To cultivate resilience, start by accepting that failure is part of life. It doesn't mean you've lost. It means you're trying. When setbacks happen, pause and assess the situation. Write down what went wrong, what you could have done differently, and what's within your control to change. This process not only clarifies the lesson, but also keeps you focused on moving forward. Another way to build resilience is to keep your long-term goals in mind. Temporary failures are just that, temporary. By focusing on the bigger picture, you're less likely to get stuck in the frustration of the moment. Remember, progress is rarely linear. Each stumble is a step toward your ultimate goal. The Stoics remind us that setbacks are not enemies, but teachers. By practicing resilience, you turn failures into stepping stones. So the next time life knocks you down, ask yourself, what's the next step forward? With this mindset, every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow stronger and more prepared for the road ahead. As we bring this journey to a close, remember that the path to a meaningful life begins with the choices you make each day. Reaffirming your principles, aligning your goals with your values, creating mindful routines, embracing challenges, and mastering the art of saying no are not just abstract ideas. They are practical steps to reshape your life with purpose and resilience. The Stoics remind us that wisdom is not gained by chance, but through practice. Each habit we've discussed holds the potential to guide you toward inner peace, clarity, and strength. Whether it's finding the courage to embrace change or building resilience by reframing failures, these lessons are not for tomorrow. They are for today. Take a moment to reflect on what resonated most with you. Is there one habit you can start practicing now? Perhaps it's letting go of distractions, strengthening your boundaries, or surrounding yourself with people who inspire growth. Start small, but be consistent. The transformation lies in the practice, not the perfection. I invite you to share your journey in the comments below. What lessons stood out to you? Have you faced a moment in your life that taught you the value of resilience, clarity, or focus? Your story could inspire someone else to take their first step. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official. Together, we can create a community grounded in wisdom, strength, and purpose. Every day offers a new opportunity to grow, to learn, and to align with your values. As you step forward, remember that the greatest power lies in living intentionally. The Stoics believed this, and so did you. Start today. Your best self is waiting.